To get your info, you come watch the J-Fed Football Show. Where does the host seem like he's on low? It's a J-Fed Fantasy Football Show. Who was that host that gives all that smoke? It is J-Fed and his football show.
Well, here we are at the halfway point of the CBS Federation of Champions League. I'm your host, Jeff Fetters, for this week's breakdown and halfway review. 21 games in, 21 to go. Let's go ahead and hit some music, and let's break down this week. It got a little ugly. All right, at the top, we got the good, the bad, the ugly. We have RDK at 278, way ahead of everybody. Washington Commanders putting up a good week at 216. Your Mom's Hobby at 213.8. Colt 45's at 213.5. And we have the middle. Titty Shakers 198. Hawk 2 at 194. That is your top six. Cutoff was 194 this week. Big TD's just missing out at 186. And then we have the ugly, and boy, oh boy, did it get bad this week. Holy shit. Teabaggers 176, Flat Earthers 171, Buddies Ballers 158, Shaking Down Again 154, and Dumpster Fire 121 scores negative 4.5 from his quarterback after benching Deshaun Watson. And Deshaun Watson tears an Achilles. Jaden Daniels goes down with rib injury. What the hell? Fabulous. Fucking love fantasy football. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the standings halfway point. They are all jumbled up and up together. Anybody is up for it. I will say Chris Allen is a full week ahead now. Cocky prick. But there's a lot of season to go. There is a lot of things happening coming up. Like I said, we are halfway. And I will pick my top six to make the playoffs here in a little bit. Let's go ahead and hit that music and give out the caboose of the week, of course, to myself. 121 points. Awful. I could have put that up in a non-GTR league. I really don't know what to say. Oh my God, my stomach hurts. I didn't even want to do this video this week. I am the caboose of the week. All right. Let's talk year in review. And the first thing I want to talk about this week is keepers, because keepers are super important. Not too much to this year, but going into next year. So let's go ahead and review everybody's keepers. And remember, the biggest key about keepers is how much value you get the next year. It's how many places that keeper is going to move up, and that's how I rate it. It doesn't mean that every keeper is going to turn out to be bad, but let's go over and start with RDK, his two keepers. We have Justin Jefferson having no value whatsoever because he took him in the second round instead of the third. So which means, cool, he might move up a couple picks here and there depending on how his round falls. But let's face it, if he ends up with the 13th pick of the second round and ends up with Jefferson in the second pick, he loses value. Roman Doomsday seems to be a solid start to the year. Anytime you take someone in the 10th or 11th rounds, it's not too dangerous. He'll obviously move up next year, maybe a round or two. Flat Earthers, you're in trouble. You didn't pick any keepers, so you're 24, not 24, but close to 20 people will be off the board next year, including some value, so you have nothing to fall back on. So that's going to be trouble since you don't have keepers. Dan, no value, but no harm, I guess, because Justin Fields is going to be a pick in the 17th round next year, I guess, or 18th, whatever it is. And I don't know, he might be the quarterback, but it doesn't look that way, does it? Colt 45s, I will say he has the best combined keepers. Let's face it, myself and Colt 45s has probably picked more keepers in our lifetime than anyone in this league. So we've probably got it wrong millions of times, but we're experienced. So best combined keepers, he went 10th and 11th round with the two wide receivers of Brian Thomas Jr. and Xavier Worthy. Both of them will definitely move up next year. Might be 5th or 6th round picks, so that's a lot of value right there. Buddies Ballers, you have one keeper, and it's Lamar Jackson. So at the most, you might move up 10 spots in the draft. There's a chance that you might end up with the first pick, and Lamar Jackson wasn't always going to be the first pick. He'd be in the top 3, of course, but you're really not getting any value there. It's sort of pointless. You sort of just locked yourself in to have Lamar Jackson every year. Dumpster fire, Keaton Mitchell is, of course, obviously a waste, but I do think I have the best value when it comes to type of fantasy league this is in quarterback when picking Jayden Daniels in the 3rd round. It probably means I will move up at least 20 to 25 picks when it comes to that, but Keaton Mitchell, that might be a waste for my pick next year, depending on what happens with Derrick Henry, to see if he's even in the rotation next year. Titty Shakers. Blake Corum, I don't know if he's going to be in the rotation next year. He only has like 23 snaps this year. But you got Malik Neighbors, who is also just as good as Jayden Daniels when it comes to keepers and value. Malik Neighbors will be probably a top 2 or 3 round pick. You will move up 3 or 4 rounds. Congratulations on that. Teabaggers, your jury's still out. We'll see what happens there, but you didn't waste your picks. It's in the middle of the draft. Commanders, they got nothing. They'll be struggling to start next year. Your mom's hobby, they got nothing. They'll be struggling to start next year. Hawk Tua, jury is still out there. You didn't waste the pick, so good kudos to you with J.J. McCarthy, but Sam Darnold's sort of kicking your ass right now. I'm assuming J.J. McCarthy's the future there, but who knows what they do with Darnold next year. Big TDs, you got some great value. Marvin Harrison Jr. will be right around that 4th rounder. I think he'll move up maybe to the 2nd or 3rd round, so you get a little value there. But Bo Nix, 14th round pick, you're the only one that took a quarterback that late that gets that much value in a league like that. That is huge. So kudos to you and kudos to these guys for putting it out there. But it can show, experience shows, and I know that me and Chris have definitely picked probably more keepers than anybody in this league. I've probably picked about 25 in my lifetime. So I know when to gamble, I know when to not to, but good thing is you get to pick keepers again next year, so you either get to keep hold with them or try new ones. All right, moving on to my last piece that I have. I want to go up and put my top 6 up. What I had, looked at all the schedules, everything we had going up, who had an easy start to the schedule, who's going to have difficulty start. And here is my top 6, and I'm going to put up the schedule difficulty real quick. Teabaggers, RDK, Big TD, Shaking Down Again, Dumpster Fires, Colt 45s, top 6 toughest schedules. Commanders, Buddies, Ballers, Flat Earthers, Your Mom's Hobbies, Hawk 2, and Titty Shakers, the least hardest schedule. Obviously, that's going to flip. This top 7 through 12 will go to the hardest schedule, vice versa. So, that shows in my top 6, and here it is. I have RDK, our Colt 45s, Your Mom's Hobbies, Shaking Down Again, Hawk Tua, and Teabaggers as the top 6. I don't have myself included. I'm falling off. I believe Shaking Down Again gets hot because Christian McCaffrey is just a couple weeks out. I believe he will return to glory a little bit at least. It might take him some weeks to get back, but that makes him very dangerous. Hawk Tua is there, but Teabaggers has had a toughest schedule, and I believe that he has a team now with the trades that he's made recently. He's going to get back into that top 6, but I'm not Cleo from Call Cleo the Psychic, so let's see what happens, man. All right, 8 minutes. I told you it was going to be longer this week. That's all I got. I will talk to you guys next week. Have a good one.